about lasagna gardening and what that is. Lasagna gardening is all about no-till. We talked about that earlier when we were talking about considerations, the first considerations for your garden. But when you're lasagna gardening, it's a way of adding to the soil instead of digging into the soil. And the reason why you may not want to till or why you may want to practice no-till gardening is because it helps to keep the healthy microbes in the soil undisturbed, which leaves them there to actually do their job for your plants. How to do lasagna gardening? It's really, really simple. You will need topsoil, compost, or no, not or. You will need topsoil, compost, dry leaves, or hay, and some cardboard. You want to lay down your cardboard first. Then you want to add your dry leaves or hay. You want to put your compost, dry leaves or hay, and then more compost. This is also how you're going to layer in your compost bin. You want to make sure that you're layering carbon, nitrogen, carbon, nitrogen. I suggest making sure that the last layer on top is always nitrogen because it helps with those smells that we talked about. With lasagna gardening, this is not something that you necessarily do when you are about to sow your plants. If you are going to use this method and you are actually in the process of sowing your garden, you want to make sure that that layer of topsoil is thick enough so that the roots can actually flourish there before they continue down. So that by the time the roots grow down to that first compost layer, it's already broken down and actually ready to receive the roots to your plant. If it is not properly composted, you risk damaging the roots to your plant and thus your plant and your crops. Another good one is growing food from food. To me, this is the absolute best. And I say this because you are actually able to buy food one time at the market and keep that thing going and going and going. For example, I bought some green onions early this season, like around May, and I've been growing them since May, and we are now in October. And I just harvest, and they keep coming back over and over again. That is growing food from food. Foods that you can grow from foods that you purchase, and it'll be fairly easy. It's potatoes, carrots, garlic, onion, and lettuce. For potatoes, you know the spuds that grow on the potatoes, those white little nodules that grow out of your potatoes. If you cut them off and sow them in some soil, keep them nice and watered, make sure the soil stays moist, you will grow potatoes in a few months. For me, I say give it about 6 months. They'll be small, but you'll get some. Remember, the smaller your pot, the smaller your potatoes. Carrots. You can plant the tops of carrots only if you get the carrots that have the green tops still available on the carrot. You want to cut those green tops off, leaving a bit of orange. Put the orange parts in some soil. Keep it nice and watered, and you will have carrot tops, which are very, very beneficial for you. You can add them to smoothies or to salads or to stir fries, and they have lots and lots of benefits. You will not get more carrots, but you will get a good amount of carrot tops. Garlic and onions. I have yet to be successful at actually getting a harvest of garlic or onions from planting a sprouted onion or garlic bulb. However, I have been able to enjoy the green tops of both for months after having sown the part that I bought from the store. If you're looking for more directions on this, again, that PowerPoint has more and more details for you. The lettuce base. It's 3-inch baby lettuce that you actually get when you sow the base of romaine lettuce. What you want to do is purchase your romaine lettuce from the market. Cut off the green leafy parts, leaving about 3 inches of base. Sow the base with the top still visible, and lettuce will grow straight out of there. You'll get about 3 inches that you can harvest. Makes enough for about a baby salad. Takes about a week or two to see the growth. If you get them in a good rotation, you can keep a nice rotation of baby lettuce coming in. And if you let it sit too long, it will begin to bolt, with what which will give you awesome, awesome, awesome lettuce seeds, and you'll be able to grow a whole nother crop of lettuce. If you are interested in more plant bios, please check out the PowerPoint. Let's talk about what I consider to be the most important part of gardening you could imagine, and that is soil, sun, and water, or sun, soil, and water as I've written it here. These things I consider to be the most important because, well, frankly, what are you going to do without them? Nothing can grow without those three things. And so let's go ahead and get started talking about what roles they play in the garden. Sun. We all know that sun is a key component in the photosynthesis process. It helps for the plant to turn CO2, it helps for the plants to turn CO2, H2O, and sun into carbs and sugar, plus oxygen for us. This process is called photosynthesis, and it's happening daily, thanks to the trees and plants that surround us on our beautiful earth. This is why knowing the sun needs of your plant are so important, because some plants require more energy to generate actual yields. So definitely make sure that you know the sun requirements. The soil types. Well, there are 4 basic soil types, and that is sandy, which is not listed on the paper, but I'm going to talk on the board, but I'll talk about it. Clay, silt, and loam. Oh, I do have it down there. Sand right there. All right, so let's talk about clay. Clay is better used for building, and that is because its molecule structure is too compact. Water nor air can move freely through clay, and it holds its form very well. This is good, like I said, for building, but horrible for root growth through the soil and for nutrient exploration from the roots. They quite literally cannot move through the clay. This also plays into making sure that you're using the right type of soil for your potted plants. In pots or in ground also determines what type of soil you will use from the store. If you are gardening in pots, you want to make sure that you are using potting mix and not garden soil. If you use garden soil when you are trying to garden in pots, it will be much like that clay and very heavy for your potted plants, and your roots will not be able to move through the pot. So be mindful of the soil that you pick up when you go shopping. For pots, you want potting soil. Silt holds water and can cause root rot. It causes the root rot because it holds on to so much of the water. Loam is the ideal soil, and you might be wondering why. That's because loam is a perfect mixture of clay, silt, and sand. It allows water and air to flow through, which creates the full health of those microbes I talked about earlier in your soil, and it helps for your soils to be able, for your plants to be able to thrive and grow from healthy root structure. The sandy soil. That sandy soil is too dry. The moisture runs straight through. And you do not want that soil. The only plants that enjoy sandy soil are succulents. And that is because they do not require a great deal of water. What is the purpose of water? It's really simple. It carries nutrients to the stems and leaves. So the roots suck up the water, which holds the nutrients from the soil, and there you go. It's delivered. The next big one is IPM. Oh goodness, and I have to recommend that PowerPoint, honey, because you need to see those bugs and you need to see what they do to your produce, and not just the produce, because they will get with your tomatoes. They will eat right into a tomato or pomegranate, but I'm just talking about what they will do to your leaves, right? So IPM stands for Insect and Pest Management. One of the easiest ways to control IPM is biodiversity, or setting up an ecosystem in your garden. This means planting things that will invite beneficial insects such as ladybugs, lacewings, mantis, bees, and birds as well. Bird feeders, bird baths, all of these things invite in birds to your garden. Uh, let's talk about some of those bad guys, why don't we? So, some of the little buggers that you'll find in your garden are aphids, spider mites, slugs, leaf miners, and caterpillars. Now, while butterflies can be beneficial to the garden, not all butterflies are. And some butterflies will lay their eggs on the undersides of your leaves. And when those eggs hatch, they will be caterpillar, well, larvae, then caterpillar, and they will eat a plant in a matter of a day. One caterpillar can take down a baby kale plant easily. So you definitely want to make sure that you are keeping an eye out when you have your young plants, that you do something to protect them by using coverings. Again, if you check out the PowerPoint, you will see examples of all these things. You want to make sure that you know what the signs of them are, why they come. For example, aphids love nitrogen. So it is most likely that you will find aphids on your nitrogen, excuse me. It is most likely that you will find aphids on your nitrogen-loving plants, such as your tomatoes, your peppers, and things of that nature. How to invite the good guys in. It's not so hard. You want to plant plants that they really, really enjoy. And an example of some of those are cilantro, dill, fennel, cosmos, geranium, and mint. Bees and certain butterflies and ladybugs really, 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 really love these flowers. And I know this from experience. I grow all of them except for cilantro. And I have a plethora of good guys and some bad guys, but my good guys keep my bad guys under control. I hope that you have learned something beneficial from this presentation today. I hope that you take the time to actually go and view the PowerPoint, because there are some great suggestions there. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via email, which you can find on the contacts page, or any of my social media platforms, which you can find on our home page. Thanks again for watching, and keep growing.